I want you to tell all the fans about what happened to me yesterday. They need to know.
Say, good morning. Welcome. I'm Thumper. You are watching Breakfast at My Mom's House. Is that how you would talk? Would you talk like that? Or would you talk like this? Hey, I'm Thumper. No? Say, I make messes because I got new litter box and it's not working out.
So the fans can see that.
Say, I got a bath yesterday. I'm super soft. No?
Mama changed my litter box. Well, Daddy changed my litter box, and I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, so he's such a big cat. We have a big, huge litter box with a lid. Problem is, when he steps up into it, his, what is it called? A primordial pouch that hangs down from his gut, his big belly, scrapes against the litter box as he goes in. I know this is probably TMI for people, but if you have cats and they have a primordial pouch, you'd think it's best to have a lower litter box. Well, this lower litter box that we just bought doesn't have a lid, and it's a lot smaller, and he's a big cat. So he has made quite the mess. After having his new litter box for just one day and getting a bath, he's already gotten wet litter all over him. Huh. He needs to be cleaned all over again. So yeah, we're probably going to end up switching back to his big box, but what's happening is he gets into the big box, and it's like this tall, so he has to get into it, and his belly rubs against it. And what happens is he ends up licking his belly so much because it's dragging against that hard plastic over and over and over again. So he ends up licking his gut, and it's irritating him. But we thought a lower litter box would work, but no, there's cat litter everywhere. Like, we usually have a super clean house, super clean bathrooms, and yeah, his cat litter is now everywhere. All because we put a different box in. But we're giving it a couple days just to see. He likes it. He went in it, surprisingly. But, you know, he's a cat, and we're trying to take care of him while he's getting older, you know, to make things easier, like going into a litter box. But so far, it's not working. Anyways, good morning, everybody.
Well, on the lighter side, he likes to sleep with Mama.
Oh, yeah.
At the foot of the bed.
Yeah, he likes to sleep with me at the foot of the bed. And he keeps sneaking into my room, but I can't leave him in there overnight because he has kitty cat acid and he vomits everywhere. And we have brand new carpet. And now this is the third time in my room now that he's...
No, stop. He rarely
does it, but it's been like 3 different times, and I've had to, I wake up in the middle of the night with it, and I have to throw him out of the room, but it still gets on the carpet, and it's a heck of hard time to clean acidy, vomit. I know you guys didn't want to hear all that, but anyways, Dawn, Bonnie, Karen, Susie, Kim, Tracy, Judy, Cherie, Patricia, Leanne, June, Peggy, Cheryl, Robin, and so many more. Welcome and good morning. I really don't want to be awake. I am so tired. That is why, and I'm going to say it real quick right now, here at the beginning, starting 2025, which will be the second day of 2025, for the next episode of Breakfast at Tiffany's, it will be from 2025 on, it'll be at 8 a.m. Arizona time. So that gives me an extra hour to stay in bed because it seems I wake up in the 5 o'clock hour to do these every other Thursday, and I'm not a morning person. I normally wake up around 7 a.m. So if I wake up at 7 a.m. normally, then 8 a.m. is a good time to start. So just thought I'd let you guys know, as of 2025, Breakfast at Tiffany's will be at 8 a.m. Arizona time from now on. But obviously today we're finishing off 2024 with it being at 7 a.m. I'll just keep reminding you guys, every time I'm live between now and then. So if you watch my channel, you've seen that the other day I did a mail opening, which I tend to do every now and then. And in that mail opening, I got some purple blocks. Lots and lots of purple blocks that look like all these mixed colors. So I counted them out because I said, I'm going to do that on Thursday because it's already pre-made. I just got to sew them together, right? I counted the blocks and there are 91. So that leaves just one extra block that I don't need so that I can go 9 across by 10 down. The blocks are 10.5 inches. I thought I measured it, but I've already forgotten. They are 10 inches. So it's just like using a layer cake. I'm assuming, and I like to tell you guys the directions, but I'm assuming this is a 2.5 inch square in the center, 2.5 inch of another color on the outsides of that, and a 2.5 by 6.5 inch right here and right here. Then these two sides would have been 2.5 by 8.5, and then the top and bottom would be 2.5 by 10.5, and then the whole block itself, they have all been trimmed down to 10 inches instead of 10.5 inches is what it would have been. So that's what it is. They're 10-inch blocks, but the outer one is smaller than these two because it was trimmed down. So there is that. I'll say it one more time. 2.5, 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5 by 6.5, 2.5 by, oh yeah, that would be 6.5. And then, yeah, that must have been a really big piece. 2.5, 2.5, 6.5, 6.5, and these would have been 8.5. 6, 7, 8. I don't know how it equals 10 inches, but it does. Just know that that was 2.5 inch squares. I'll even measure it. Yep, that was a 2.5 inch square. Ah, no, that was a 2.25 inch square. What? No way. 2.25. So that doesn't even equal 10 inches. How does that make a 10-inch block? I have no idea, but it's there. You can do it with 2.5 inch. Just trust me. And it'll be the same exact thing. I don't even remember what pile I took this from. So I made 9 piles of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I have to redo it because I pulled from one of these and now I don't even remember which one. 1, 2, because I'm going to sew them together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That one has 10. It's got to be this one that I pulled that extra one from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yep, it was from that pile. Okay. They're in sets of 10. I'm going to sew them in rows of 9 and make 10 rows. Just like that. So here I go. The only thing I'm going to watch is I don't want the seams from here and here to nest with the next one. So the next one, I'm going to put the opposite direction with the long seam. So it'll be long seam next to this, and I'll just keep alternating them until all of them are sewn. And then I'll sew the rows together and we'll have a quilt.
There you go.
And it was already pre-made. Well, pre-started for me to make it easier on my life. And what I should do is move that little guy out of the way, keep my piles of 10 together, and move them over here. I could make a label. That's why I pulled out. The extra block has been pulled out, and it's a solid on the outside. So I can put whatever on it. I already thought of that one. It is cold in here this morning. Whew. And I'm going to alternate the seams. So this one, I started it with the whatchamacallit seam. So when I get to the next row, I'm going to alternate that to where it faces this way because it'll start with an up and down one instead. So I just got to make sure I pay attention to that. They are going in no particular order because from the looks of it, they all have a different outside fabric, which is good. Some will be dark, some will be light. It really doesn't matter, and it's not going to matter where they end up because the whole thing is purple. And I'll just constantly press towards the solid piece. That way the seam's laid nice and flat when it comes to going to the iron. So for the person that sent me all these blocks, thank you, because this made today easier. That way, when we start the new year, we can start a whole new project from the beginning. Plus, I love a purple quilt. I don't know about you guys, but purple, I love the color purple. Excuse me. Don't forget to tune in on Sunday. I will be live at 5 p.m. Arizona time, and Sunday we will be giving away, even though you won't get it in time for Christmas, this lovely Santa hat quilt wall hanging, or table topper, whatever you want it to be. So that way you can display it next Christmas. So if you want a chance to win it, it will be a live stream only, live giveaway. Nothing you have to enter any forms or anything. It will just be a live drawing. All right, one row sewn together. Look at that. See, I didn't have to do anything for this project. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside so that I know the first one started that direction. So this next row will be starting in this direction. And I'm actually making it up and down, not side to side, because I pulled 9 rows of 10 instead of 10 rows of 9, or 10 pieces, 9 per thing. I'm sewing 10 at the time being. I just wanted to make it easy on my brain. No matter which way you construct something like this, it's still going to have the, longer, wider, whatever, be a different, there's a word for it, brain. It's going to be longer than it is wider. There's no direction to anything, so it's okay that I piece it up and down instead of side to side.
How big is it?
What is 9.5 times? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. 9.5 times 9. It'll be 85.5 by 95. So it'll be 85.5 by 95. So that's not a bad quilt. That will be, if I put a border on it, it'll make it fully queen size. Actually, it'll be queen size, 85. That's 10 inches on each side of a hanging on a queen size bed. I could add a border. I have lots of purple fabric.
Put black border on it?
I could go around it with white or black, and then a purple to finish it off. I could. I want two really darks next to each other. Really dark ones left in this pile. Let's swap one for one on that one, and I didn't even pay attention to that. We'll swap one for one in this pile. There we go. That should be a good balance. And if I have to swap more, I'll swap more. When I go, eventually I'm going to get to the Tula butterfly pattern, and that one I'm going to drag on, yes, like I did with Skulliver. Yes, I'm going to do my Tula butterfly quilt. I might turn that into a block of the month, or 2 blocks of the month, because there's a lot of blocks in it. I just have to pre-plan it. Yeah, I was supposed to do that with my friend Eric, but his and my schedule, he works full-time, and I work full-time from home. So I can do whatever I want when I want. But he, on the other hand, cannot. So our schedules collide too much to where we could even go live together to do that. So I'm just going to do it on my own. So it'll be sometime in 2025. I got to get everything situated on how I'm going to do it. All right. And just because I want to be, I'm going to put them together now. And everything is just going to be finger pressed for now, but it works.
Well, they already have the Tula butterfly quilt, so she says, let's do it. She's waiting.
Yeah. I'm waiting to do it. I just got to make sure when I do it, I do everything, to where it makes a schedule and so on and so forth. Normally, I just do things on the fly, because that's how I work. I have no seams except for the joining of each block seam, which is good. See, not much I got to do here. It's all finger press, so I do have to hold them. So 2 are together. So I'm just going to give it a finger press to one side for now so that I can see where I've started. And since I'm piecing it vertically, it's a little bit longer. 10 inches. It's 10 inches longer than it would have been if I would have pieced it horizontally. All right. So far, that's what I have. See, it'll work out perfect. All right, so I'm going to place this over here so that I can see where I started again, and I'll just do them in sets of 2. So that way I can see what that previous one is. Just like that. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this one is going to start this way, and this goes this way. Okay. Making sure that it's good. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. I spent this week in my fabric room, and you guys, if you haven't seen the video, you should check it out, because just the other day I was live in my fabric room.
In the PJs.
In my PJs. So it was very relaxing to just hang out in my actually everyday wear, because I don't go anywhere. I mean, I did get dressed yesterday to go to Walmart, but, you know, that's very rare. But yeah, hanging out in my fabric room, organizing.
Hey, you got a bunch of good junk at Walmart. Tell them about
Yeah.
your new slippers.
Yep, I got new slippers when I was at Walmart. So when my son died, I saved a pair of his slippers, but they had what is it called again? Foxtails. If you guys ever been to Arizona, they had cactus needles and foxtails in them. So Scott went to clean them, but then they were peeling. Turns out it was just the tag that was peeling, because the tag was built onto the top. They're really nice slippers. They're big for my feet, yes, but I only need them to go outside and in, you know, just to go, you know, walk around the front yard to get the mail, or go outside and do the bad thing that I do with just smoking, you know. So I just needed outdoor slippers, but they were a mess. So while we were at Walmart, we decided, let's get me some new slippers. I'm going to tell you right now, in the past, I have a hair on my tongue or something, fuzz. In the past, I have never paid more than $5 for a pair of house slippers or indoor-outdoor slippers, but I need the hard bottom to go outside. These slippers were $18. Like, what? So we have these nice pair of slippers. They fit nice. It's hard to find slippers because there's not very many choices out there. I get them home. They're very, very comfy. They're lined with fuzz, so they're keeping my feet warm. And then Scott finally realizes, after we're already home, he realizes it's the tag that's peeling off the other slippers that were Cyrus's. So he washes them the rest of the way, and there's no more cactus needles or anything in them. They don't fit very well, but I have chosen to use those as my outdoor slippers, which was originally planned, and use the slippers that he bought me yesterday at Walmart. Those are now my house slippers, and let's just say they keep my feet nice and toasty when I'm in the house. And I don't have to walk around all barefoot. I think in the wintertime, the barefoot walking, even with just socks on, is what makes my feet so cold, and then it keeps me cold, which is not good because I'm very irritated and achy when I'm cold. Like my body is irritated, not me. I mean, but my body is cold and irritated, so, and I have cold feet naturally anyway. It can be 120 degrees outside in the summertime, and my feet are still freezing. Very poor circulation. So, yeah, I got a nice pair of house slippers now.
Will you demo how you cut the diamond that you used in your dream quilt?
Demo how I cut the diamond? I did in that video. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys how I made that diamond in that video. If I'm not making it again, I try not to do those kind of things, you know, cut things out again. All right, so that one goes this way. So that means this row will start this way. You know what? I'm just going to put them on my lap. That might make it easier because then I can just grab from my lap. Since I'm already making a big mess right there. Since they're in no particular order. And if you want to learn how to lay things out so where you have good contrast, because this has a lot of dark and light outer pieces, if you want to see something with good contrast, then what you can do is take a picture with your phone, because mostly everybody has a smartphone. Take a picture with your phone and then go into those settings, because most smartphones you can, and turn it into a black and white photo, and that will show you the contrast so that you can make sure everything's laying out when you do stuff like this. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff, never have been. But if you are, then that is a way to do it, especially if you're a beginner and you don't really know and you want to learn how to, you know, get good contrast throughout your quilt. That is a good way to do it.
Why aren't you webbing this time?
I'm not webbing because this is very long and it's just going to keep getting caught up on things. Usually web piecing, I do a smaller blocks, smaller size quilt. Although that's not to say that I can't do it with big ones. I just choose not to because it gets hung up on everything. And I definitely don't want any frustration. Having these already done for me is the most less frustrating way of sewing. Is somebody already pre-sewed everything.
What would you recommend for a king-size quilt? Log cabin or this pad? You have 40 jelly roll strips and a lot of yardage.
40 jelly roll strips will not yield you a king-size quilt.
And a lot of yardage.
And a lot of yardage, if you cut that, you know, together, you could do something like this, yes. Where all your centers are the same, and then a different jelly roll piece for this, and then all your outsides are something different, you know, of alternating fabrics, depending on what fabrics you have. This would work. Or what was the other one?
Log cabin.
Log cabin. Log cabins are nice when they're king size because there's more. You see whatever the design is you make, you can see it in a bigger scale, which is good. But again, you were gonna need more than just one jelly roll. One jelly roll, depending on if you're using accents and stuff like that, one jelly roll will yield you a lap quilt to twin size quilt, depending on what the pattern is. 2 jelly rolls, on the other hand, plus yardage and accents and whatever else, can make you a king size, but yeah, you need a lot of jelly rolls for that. This person must have been saving purple fabric for a while when they made this, because there's lots of different prints in this. All right, I'm going to sew these 2 together now. Just going to accordion fold it onto my lap and sew these 2 together. Like I said, I'm keeping everything in 2s. So I'm just going to that one's pressing this way, so that one goes this way. All right. Finger pressing. But it's killing my fingers, so I'll just grab this thing. Yesterday I made a quilt top out of scraps from, I don't know if it's the same person's box or if it was from one of the other boxes of stuff that I got, but I made a quilt top out of the scraps from Tuesday's mail opening. There were 91 blocks here. I'm using 90 of them for the quilt top. So it'll be 9 across by 10 down. All right. So now this one goes on top of this one. But for now, I'm just going to fold it and put it there because there's lots of more rows to sew. So we'll stack that on top of there. Now, the next row will go this way. Put it on my lap again. That way. Two darks next to each other. Switch that to that pile. Okay.
What's the thing you're using to press with?
It is a pressing stick. It is a wood pressing stick. It's like a finger. You can find that at tquilts.com. It just mimics the finger, but a little bit easier, honestly, on your fingers, especially if you have sensory issues like me with my MS. After a while of finger pressing, I start getting numb in my fingers from doing that. So this replicates it. Huh? Display what on the wall? No, because I'm doing it this way. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when I'm all done. If I can get all the rows pieced, you know. I'm just going to use my finger, though, because it's faster, and I'm just going to have to live with the strange sensation, though. When I do the long seam, that's when it really bugs me. Down. Just going to place it right here so that I can see which way the next one should start. Needs to go this way. So we'll start with this one. This one. Okay. Lap. I don't know how I'm going to quilt anything. I am not a what design to quilt quilter. You know, it just, whatever happens, happens. I could quilt flowers on here. I could quilt something geometric on here. It really, I don't know, because then the thought process never stops. I just wait. I'm one of those quilters that once I load it on the long arm, then I'm like, oh, I'm going to quilt that. You know, it's got to, it just comes to me. The only thing I pre-plan quilting is if I make a custom quilt that I know I want to enter into a show, then I look at each section as I'm doing it. So if I'm making a giant Lone Star or something, I look at the sections and go, ooh, this would look good here, and this would look good here. And by the time I get to the long arm, it just flows. I definitely don't pre-plan. I do have to give props to the person who pieced all these because all the seams are nicely pressed. Everything is going in a nice direction. It's not sloppy like I do. Everything is like literally pressed out nice and flat. No flipped seams. Like, this person did a nice job piecing all these pieces. And I'm making it all sloppy by flipping seams and all sorts of stuff because I don't care. So this person was a very meticulous piecer. This way. Oh, that's two lights next to each other. Let's put some color there. And that's the first time I knocked the thread out today. Dust. I feel like it's gone quiet. Any questions? Any questions or anything?
While we're talking about food.
Food? What? Yesterday, I made a breakfast dish for dinner because
and it was to die for.
Breakfast for dinner is always the best. Scott says it's to die for. He loves it. I do too, though. We literally, because he helped me. I'm having hand issues lately, so he's doing a lot of helping with everything. You take tater tots and you put them in the bottom of a cake pan, and then you bake them for a little while so they get a little bit crispy to start, because if you don't, they're going to be soggy and nasty. Then you cook up some sausage, breakfast sausage. And then after you cooked up your breakfast sausage, you cook up some bacon And then you combine the breakfast sausage and the bacon together and make a big mush up with your crispy bacon into it, you know, because you have to chop it up. And then after you do that, we scramble 10 to 12 eggs, depending on how big of a dish we're making. We scramble all the eggs, and then we put the sausage and bacon mixture over the tater tots nicely, and then we take the scrambled eggs and pour it over the tater tot and sausage and bacon thing nicely, and then we pile it with cheese. Usually we use Kobe Jack or something like that, or yeah, I think that's what we use, or Mexican rice fiesta or whatever that one's, or Mexican cheese fiesta cheese or whatever. We use those, and then pile it with cheese, throw it in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes for the eggs to cook. Oh, it's to die for. It's so delicious. I put ketchup on mine, but I like ketchup on my tater tots. I don't necessarily like ketchup on eggs, but I like it on tater tots, so I just put a little bit of ketchup on mine. And salt and pepper, because Scott doesn't like anything salt and peppered. But yesterday I just peppered the eggs only, and it was just fine. But yeah, we like to make that for dinner around here. I ran out of bobbin. Roll another one while we're right here. So now you can see why I keep my 2 spools of thread up here. For those that are always curious, wondering why there's 2 spools. One goes to the bobbin. The other one goes to the machine. I cannot simultaneously use them, but I wish I could, but there's a block in there on the side that stops you from sewing at the same time. Oops, that just fell right out. Okay, did I not put it in there correctly? I'm just a doofus today, I guess. So that is how I do it, and then I snip it. You got to make sure you, on the Juki Teal 2010Q or all these Juki Teal models, make sure you unhook the thing, or your machine won't work, and you'll wonder why, and you'll be like, oh, when you finally realize what's going on, that you left the clip on. I do that at least, I don't know, twice a month. Where I'm like, oops, I forgot to unclip that. Oops, there's a flipped seam. I've been trying not to flip the seams, but I really don't care when it does. As long as it lays flat by the time I get it to the long arm, that's all I care about. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and finger press it open again. I spread the seam with my fingers and then use my little tool when I do it this way. Even when I just use my finger, I still spread the seam open. I'm pretty sure this fabric is starched because it feels starched. that's probably why it's pressing a little bit easier and laying a lot flatter. All right. Stay. Put this over there. All right. Now pay attention to the way the next row goes. So this one will face that way. And we'll go this way. I feel like it's gone silent again. You know,
We're still talking about food.
Oh,
You
I
went through
totally,
that.
I totally have not even completed my long arm quilting goal. I wanted to have all my quilt tops out of the closet by the end of this year.
You got a lot out.
Yesterday I made a quilt with scraps. Today I'm making it with these. I'm just refilling that. By the time 2025 hits, there's going to be a lot of quilts in there again. Oh, wait, why am I putting two lights next to each other? Let's not do that. I'm not really alternating light and dark, but I definitely don't want two really pale ones next to each other.
You're all talking about food. Tell them what you're making this year Christmas.
Oh, yeah. So you guys want to know what I'm making for Christmas? I'm making enchiladas. And guess what? There is a video on it. It's an older video. It's not all that great, but... And I don't have a great kitchen for making videos either. But I show you guys how I make my enchiladas, and I tell you all the ingredients I use and everything. So if you guys out there want to make enchiladas for Christmas, I'm telling you, yum, yum. I look forward to Christmas every year, but technically in the wintertime, I can make enchiladas anytime I want. Honestly, I can make Scott and I just one pan of enchiladas for just me and him instead of making for the whole world, because everybody and their mama and their cousins and brothers and uncles want to come over and eat it. when I make them. All right, this one's going to start this way. There's a lot of darks on this one. Hold on, let's do some swapping real quick. Let's put that one next. This one has a lot of the same color in it. Let's get this one over to here and put this one over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Again, I'm starting this way. The next one will go this way. Oh, that helicopter sounds super low. Or airplane. Could be an airplane. Gone into quiet mode again. I'm not joining in on a food conversation because then I'm going to want to eat. Come on. Right there. To hook this one to this one, and then we have one more row to make. That far in. That one. All right. These two together. Just put it on my lap. press this, and then we'll make that last and final row and attach it. And then put all these rows together. So technically, this quilt, if I was to have made this on my own, this would have been 2 episodes worth with a tiny bit of side sewing. So it shouldn't take long to make something like this. I've done the square and a square and a square thing many times. This is probably one of the easier go-to blocks to, get your 1/4-inch seam down kind of thing as you're learning to make quilts. All right. Place this up here. We'll make that final row and then put all these together. All right, so this one starts off this way. Ooh, this fabric is pretty. All right, so I'm going to attach this one to the previous set of 2. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I just have to remember that I started there. this side. I actually have this fabric right here. So I could actually just go grab like a light purple and that fabric, or that fabric and another fabric, and go all the way around the whole thing for borders. Turning this into a queen king size quilt.
What is your machine, and did you order a larger extension with it?
Huh?
What is your machine you're using, and did you order a larger extension with it?
My machine is a Juki TL 2010Q. The extension table came with my machine. Some people are saying they're ordering from other companies, but every single box I've ever gotten that had a Juki TL 2010Q, even my HZL F600, all had the extension tables inside the box. So if you get the box and it has an empty spot, a skinny empty spot, that's probably because the extension table was there, but the company opened it up and took the extension table out and sold it to you separately. Because, yeah, there's some companies that are not selling it with the extension table, but it should come with it. I've heard quite a few of you out there say that, wow, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, they ordered it and it didn't come with the extension table. But they didn't order it from where I ordered it from, which it comes with. So some companies are trying to make an extra buck on the side, which I could see, yeah, but it comes with it. So I don't know. It's got to put a link in, though. But yeah, even my little brother, 9QS285 or whatever, SQ9285, I said that all backwards, that came with an extension table in the box. Every single machine besides my industrial came with an extension table. The only machine that they sell separately a table for was my brother PRS 100 embroidery machine. You can get an extra table for that to do free motion quilting on it. They do sell a table attachment, and I own it, but I don't use it because I don't free motion quilt.
On this quilt, you don't have to nest any seams?
The only seams I'm nesting are the blocks. Anything else, everything is flopped opposite of each other, so there's no nesting on this quilt. I didn't have to worry about any of that. All right, so this was the bottom corner. This was the top corner. Now, to stick this 2 rows on top of here. And so, oops, sorry for hitting the microphone, guys. So these 2. And when I get to that last and final row, then I'll have Scott turn on the iron for me to iron the whole entire thing so you guys can see it. It's going to be bigger than my wall, so I won't be able to hang it up. I have to hold it up because it's a lot bigger than my design wall. In width and in length. Thumper's coming over to say hi again. Say hi, everybody.
Talking about holding things up. Heard of a storm.
Hi. Hi. He smells like clean.
He smells like clean.
He smells like clean from his bath.
He is.
We use oatmeal baby soap on him. Instead of like animal soap, because baby soap has no harsh chemicals. Oh yeah, the new iron.
Hamilton Beach.
It's just a plain old Hamilton Beach, and I enjoyed using it yesterday. It's light. I don't have to wait for that stupid thing on the Oliso that goes up and down. Although I still have the Oliso, it's just in the fabric room now. That's where that one will get used. But I definitely, I'm going to say after all these years now, I 100% just like plain Jane irons. Don't need anything fancy. Right, I'm gonna kind of try to finger press this, and then I'll add the next 2 and so on and so forth until all of it's together. Oh, wait, at least when I get to the iron, this will be mostly pressed. Oh, I have 2 matching. What are the odds of 90 squares randomly thrown together? What are the odds of 2 matching ones right next to each other, like the exact same purple fabric? Oh well, I'm not ripping it out. You know why? Because I don't really care. But, I mean, really, the odds are 1 in 90 that 2 matchy-matchy colors will be next to each other. So you can pre-lay stuff like this out. Obviously, I could have done that and put it all in a specific order when I picked it up and then started sewing it that way when I finally got onto today's live, but I really was not in the mood to, you know, make sure everything was nice. All right, so now these 2. It's gonna go on to this, and then I'll add that last and final one. So now I just need to pull it over here because This thing is bigger than me.
You going to the iron with it?
No, not until after I get that last row on. Oh. Yeah. All right.
One person did your Santa hat blocks, but they all go the same way.
Ah, well, the Santa hat blocks can go all the same way, or however, if you want to make it a table runner where they're all the same way, or if you want to do like I did and make them opposite, I mean, either way, it was a fun, easy little quick Santa project that you can do for Christmas. You could just make one block, you know, to hang on the wall, you know, and do the elf on a shelf thing with your kids or grandkids, you know, and hang it from Santa's hat or something. I don't know. You can have fun, be creative with them, you know. All right, finger press this and then add that last and final row. Oh, Jim put a link in for the enchilada videos for anybody that wants to attempt making it. We make it in the, it wasn't because, I just started making them 1 year when I was a young mother. I was a young mother and needed something that would fill everybody for Christmas dinner and not be turkey. I mean, yeah, I'll eat turkey and blah, blah, blah. It tastes delicious. But every year, earlier on, when the kids were very, very, very little, I would do a turkey for like Thanksgiving. And then I wouldn't see them the rest of the day because they'd be asleep. You know, I never got time to spend with them. So I decided no more turkey, no more hams 1 year. And said, guess what? I'm going to do enchiladas. Yeah, well, that was a random one because usually I do enchiladas, but because I've been doing those since the kids were. Alexa was like 10. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was Thanksgiving that I did the hams. But yeah, anyway, so I've been doing enchiladas for many, 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 many years because I didn't want ham or turkey no more. And here, we can only make, everybody else can make it any time of year, but here we can only make it in the wintertime anyway because we have a galley kitchen and it's too hot to use the oven in the summertime, like way too hot. So we only use it in the wintertime here. So oven baked stuff is wintertime and microwave meals are the rest of the year for me. Scott makes his own thing. And even stove cooking in the summertime is hot. We don't have a good kitchen for that. All right.
a lot, and it's
Yeah.
hard because they take over 2 hours.
Yeah, Scott makes beans, and it takes a long time to make beans, over 2 hours, so he makes them a lot because he's a bean eater. All right. In about 3 minutes, turn the iron on, because that's about how, no, 2 minutes. That's about how long it'll take to sew this seam. Oops. I veered off. It's kind of a little on the heavier side already over on that way. All right, you can plug the iron in. I rolled it over. Gotta watch that when I'm sewing big quilts. I roll it over with my chair. I did that yesterday, like 5 times I was rolling over my pieces. I have never made a quilt from wool suits. Nope. All right, so now I'm gonna finger press this before it goes to the iron, and then I'll press it real quickly like, and then we could show you, because I am done.
How many jelly rolls do you think this person needs to make all this?
I'm pretty sure this is 2.5 jelly rolls or 3 jelly rolls. But I think this is all cut from their own personal stash, because these are some random fabrics in here. Wow, and I have 3 matching all next to each other. Not next to each other, but in the same distant area, you know. Never said this was going to be perfect. So I have 1 that are 2 same blocks next to each other, and then some that have their color near each other. That is totally fine, though. Yeah, because there's some grunge in here. There's some random this and that. So this is definitely a stash buster. They must have saved all the purples, you know, the person that started these blocks. Saved, you know, small cuts of all purple fabrics and used them to make this. All right. I'll be at the iron for a minute. It shouldn't take too long to iron this. And Scott will turn the camera, obviously, so you guys can see the kitty and me shuffling this quilt onto the onto the ironing board. The kitty stole his seat though, so he has to sit on the floor. Thumper does that often though. He still seats. Yeah. He has a spot at the kitchen table. He has a spot under the long arm. Thumper has spots all over this house that he likes to frequent. Somebody asked the other day about my fabric room and having all of my fabric exposed if I worry about light. Well, every single room in this whole entire house, except for the living room and dining room, all the bedrooms have blackout curtains. That's what my curtains you're seeing here are. They're blackout curtains. So when we turn the lights off, it's super dark in here. So my fabric room is never really exposed to outside. Actually, it's never exposed to outside light because I don't even open that window. Ever. Yeah. Yeah, the whole house never gets light. Our house is situated where the sun is beating down on it, no matter which way. All the windows in this house get sun, so we don't open the windows around here. Yep, and we also have dark screens outside the windows. Sunscreens is what they're called. So it's like getting tinting on your windows, except it's a screen instead, so you can still open the window and have a screen. Those are the bonuses of having a large ironing board right here. Video of what? No, I did not do a video of Christmas lights. I do videos of fireworks every now and then, and of, trying to think, there's a word, storms. Other than that, I don't do Christmas light videos because we don't really drive around town to look at them anymore because we don't have any kids here to go with us and look. It was mainly just to, entertain the kids. Because our town, a lot of people decorate and then they put it in the white sheet, which is a free paper, kind of deal. the finger pressing with the little tool helped make this a lot easier to do. This whole pressing thing. Oh, that's why there's water getting everywhere. You forgot to snap this.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. Was it not all the way?
No.
I'm sorry. That's my bad then.
That's okay.
I did close it. I didn't know it was that special. I just closed it.
Yeah, it snaps. I was wondering why there was water everywhere. All right. All done. I think, I should probably just lay this on the living room floor because it's kind of big.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to go turn the lights on in the living room.
How could do that? You relax. And then go.
Oh, I made it. Made a mess. Yeah, this is pretty big. Okay. Trying to shove all that batting back under here. Everything went messy because I usually don't. All right. Let's go to the living room, my friends. Camera is moving. That way you can see the whole quilt.
Yes.
Yes, the floor is clean. Go that way. It's longer than it is.
Okay, well, I don't know nothing about it. Sorry. As far as I knew that was.
All right. So I could either leave it as is or add a border or, oh, it's just because it's caught on the lip of that foot thing. All right. So now all I need to do is either quilt it or add a border or whatever, but the person that sent me these blocks made my job easier. Let's just say I kind of love it enough to where I might add borders and turn it into my own personal quilt and remove another one of my other personal quilts from it because this is purples and I love it and it's not black colors, so if Thumper does get on it, it wouldn't be a bad thing because it's purples and not blacks.
One person said add a white border.
Yeah, I could do a white all the way around it and then find that other purple that I have because there's like 3 or so of these purple fabrics that I have in my own personal stash. Trying to think. It was that one over there. I have that in a different color, not purple. I think I have that plain purple. I'm like thinking out loud here. All right, so there it is. I think it looks fabulous. Let me make sure the size real quick. It's a half-fast measurement, but it should have been 85 and a half by 90. 94 and a half. Yeah, that's what it was. 94 and 95 was the number and that's just not laying flat either. By 85 and a half, just like I said. So I could leave it or I can add to it. If I add to it, then it would be mine. Because I love purple and it's really hard to get rid of anything that's purple colors, you know. That's what I said. I'd have to remove one of my others.
You're not going to do that. So,
No.
in other words, this is for sale. People already have.
All right, I'm going back to the room now. You can stare at the purple quilt on the way so it doesn't make anybody too dizzy. All right. All right, guys. So there we have it. A nice, pretty purple quilt. I think I'm just going to leave it, though, and probably just put it in my for sale stuff just as is.
What is the
I don't know. It's just a square and a square and a square. I don't know what they call these blocks, honestly. I don't. There's probably a name for it, but it's just a square. Let me just grab a plain block. It's just a square with two squares around it. So it's a 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So that equals 6.5. So these are 2.5 by 6.5, 2.5 by 6.5, and then this would be 2.5 by 10.5. And then the whole thing was trimmed to 10 inches instead of being 10.5. So quite easy. It can be done with jelly rolls. You could do 1 jelly roll, 2 jelly rolls, however many jelly rolls you want to use. This is 85.5 by 94.5. So technically, this is quite large, and I'm assuming this is more than 2 jelly rolls worth. Because every time I use 2 jelly rolls, I don't really ever get if I just use the jelly rolls only, I don't get a king size. This is queen size. So it's really close to a little bit more than 2 jelly rolls, probably. Any questions before I get off of here so that I can go eat some of my tater tot casserole leftover breakfast foods? And don't forget, Sunday when I come on, make sure you're there at 5 p.m. Arizona time. That's when So Sunday always is, so that you can take part in a chance to win this WOW Live. Even though you won't get it before Christmas, it'll be ready for next year's decorations. And then that's it. And the new year, don't forget, as of 2025, the second day, so January 2nd will be the first Breakfast at Tiffany's. It'll be episode 25 in the year of 2025 is when it starts. And we will be at 8 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. So if you are Eastern right now, it would be 10 a.m. And if you're Central, it would be 9 a.m. And for me, it's 8. And then Pacific would be 7 a.m. So I just think it would be so much easier. So 8 a.m. Arizona time is what Breakfast at Tiffany's will now be at since this episode.
Sundays will be the same.
But Sundays are not changing. Sundays are always 5 p.m. and have been for many, many years now. So those are always 5 p.m. Arizona time on So Sunday. Anything else is just random. So, all right, guys. I don't see any questions, and he hasn't given me any. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you guys all for hanging out for the last of Breakfast at Tiffany's for the year of 2024. We ended on episode 24 and the end of 2024. So we start episode 25 in the year of 2025. So I will see you guys all in that first episode, which will be episode 25 next year. The square in the very center is 2.5 inches. See, if I measure it, it's exactly 2.5 inches. Then this is 2.5 by, it's 2.5. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Everything's 2.5. Yeah, it's all 2.5 inch stuff. So, alrighty, everybody. See you in my next video. Bye.